Now we're going to revisit the driver file, the driver class. So if you remember back when I explained to you last week about our movie and our movie driver, or our rock and our rock driver, movie doesn't run, rock doesn't run, person doesn't run. We have to have a driver file. A driver file is the way that we can check to make sure everything we did works. So rock driver in this case is a separate file. So there'll be two separate files. There'll be a rock class, there'll be a rock driver class. The rock driver class is the thing that you'll actually run. You'll compile everything, you'll just run the driver. What it is going to do, this driver method that I have, is going to create a default rock called Carol. That means Carol's going to be gray and weigh 2.5 pounds. Then I'm going to create a 2-argument rock called Pete, and that's going to be a brown rock weighing 3.2 pounds. So that's what those first two lines of code do. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the toString method, system.out.println Carol. That will call the toString method, and what that will do is it will print out the status of Carol. It will say that Carol is gray, weighs 2.5. Then it's going to call the same toString method, but this case for the object Pete. And it's going to say Pete is colors brown, weight is 3.2. Now, the next line of code are going to be mutators. I'm calling the set method. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change Carol's color from gray to orange. That's what that set color orange is. And what I'm going to do for Pete is I'm going to break him in half. I am going to get his weight, I'm going to divide it by 2, and I'm going to go ahead and set the weight for half. So that's like cracking the rock in half and saying it's half its weight. So what ends up happening is when I go to reprint those, Carol is going to be orange and weigh 3.2 pounds, or 2.5 pounds, orange and weigh 2.5 pounds. And Pete is going to still be brown, but Pete is only going to weigh 1.6 pounds. So now here's what we have for our person driver. So again, I'm going to give this to you. You're going to have this to run. What's going to happen is the person driver is set up to run, and it's going to create a new person called Mr. Oliver, who's 48 and weighs 225 pounds. Then it's going to create 2 default people. The first one is John Doe, default constructor. So that would be a person whose name is blank, who has no weight or age, and who's dead. And then you, as in you, the person doing the coding, are also going to be default. And that's going to be, again, blank name. It's going to have 0 weight and 0 age, and it's going to be the Boolean status false for alive, so it's not going to be alive. Then what I'm going to ask is I'm going to ask you to print out the status of me. So on the screen it should print out Mr. Oliver's age is 48, he's 225 pounds, and he is alive. Then I want you to print out John Doe. Well, John Doe should have a blank as a name, actually the word blank. Weight should be 0, age should be 0, and the alive status should say deceased. The next line of code says u.readInfo. What that is going to do is it's going to call that method readInfo. And what it's going to do is it's going to allow you to put in your information, your name, your age, your weight. And then when I call that system out print, what is going to happen is it's going to print out on the screen your name, your age, your weight, and the status of you being alive.